there waiting for this speech. Chud, you were good. I appreciate that. We could have turned this into a true circus, but you're all right. My friend Adam Lubkin, I had to mention his name, Adam, invited me to one of these quite a few years ago, and when I found out I was going to be inducted, I'm like, oh boy, I got to give another speech. And one of the men that was getting inducted that night provided some of the funniest lines ever, Gary Dunn, and I appreciate that. That was a good speech there, Gary. Horace Copeland and Carlos Huerta were probably the most opposite people in the world that have no athletic ability, sitting next to one of the most amazing athletes ever. And I bring that up because to me, it is an honor, but it's almost unreal that I'm being inducted into a Hall of Fame. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm 5'7". They used to make fun of me out there. When I first got out there, I had all these coaches from Oklahoma speaking language that I basically didn't understand, telling me to go here, go there. My jersey didn't fit. My pads were too big. Dan Stubbs was yelling at me because he wanted to go tackle me and show everybody how bad he was. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I want to go eat my black beans and rice with my mom back home. So, it's kind of ironic. I don't know how many of you have watched the movie Rudy, but he's actually my neighbor now. And swear to God. And, I look back and I see my statistics, and I know that it was for real, but to me, I was just a big Miami Hurricane fan. And it was almost like a naive thing for me to have come here and try to do what I was able to do, and it just all worked out perfectly. Talk about realization of a dream. It's just so amazing to explain to my lovely wife, to tell her what I went through, and one day, when my little boy out there is a little older, to show him what it is to be part of such a great program and how much fun it was, and the experience of having great support from just amazing fans. I know we don't have the group of fans or size of fans at the University of Florida or Florida State experience, but the ones that are supporting us, man, they're the best. And it made Horace and my career and Russell's career and Rob's career playing football just so memorable and perfect. We were lucky enough to be part of this dynasty that I don't think any of us will ever forget. Rob's still coaching. He's lucky he gets to experience that greatness. I knew back then that when we would walk out onto the field as a Hurricane football team, and Father Leo used to mention things like this, we may never, or at that point in our lives, we knew that we may never experience a feeling of greatness or of knowing that you were the best in the country. And football, it's football. It was a great thing, but being that what goes on in the world today, it may be insignificant. I mean, it isn't that big of a deal now when I look back, but back then, just to step on that field and know that you're a Hurricane, I can't explain to you in words what that was like, especially coming where I had come from. And like I said, it's just amazing to be up here and to be a part of all these great inductees, which I remember watching and being fans of. So thanks again, it goes to the fans, it goes to Jimmy Johnson, who believed in me. A lot of people, Chud kind of said it. No one knew who I was. I wasn't supposed to play. And here was a guy that was willing to take a chance and give me an opportunity to go in there and kick game-winning field goals and kind of a little bit put his reputation on the line, because it's pretty tough when you walk into a private school setting where they offer scholarships to athletes and they're paying them, $25,000, $30,000 a year, and they have their reputation to hang on the line with these scholarship kids that they had recruited, and all of a sudden say, hey, you know what, we messed up. Here's this walk-on that no one's ever heard of. I'm going to put him in the game to kick the opening points against the number one ranked team in the country. And I never would have, a lot of coaches would not have put me in that position. And luckily it worked out, and that's why he was able, I guess, to go on and do the things he did. He had a little bit of a grit, evidently, and some intelligence. So I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for people like that. I was fortunate enough. It was a little bit of a joke in a way, but I had my own little Huerta cheering section that they started in the Orange Bowl. I appreciated that, and I did have great fans. Sometimes the motivation to play so well and to work so hard and to be so serious and not goof off was, I knew that those people counted on us making their weekends. I knew that my teammates were so good at what they did. I felt like it was my obligation to show up every game and make sure that I was as good as they were at their position. But those fans really were fantastic while I was here. Obviously, being Hispanic at the University of Miami was a little bit more special for me. And I just got to say that a lot of you expected me to go on and maybe kick the game-winning field goal in a Super Bowl like we saw this year. And after I didn't, a lot of them were, I think you guys were more disappointed than I was. I mean, I felt that I went further than I was ever supposed to go, and was so happy to have done the things I did. But I got to tell you, I worked hard after college. I didn't do drugs. I didn't piss anybody off. Things just didn't work out in the pros like a lot of you expected, but I did appreciate all that encouragement. I have a lot of people sitting back there who supported me strategically, financially. They gave me encouragement, family and friends alike. And it's amazing how you never forget those things later on, even when the football, or when I'm not kicking footballs anymore. We had a dynasty, like I think I mentioned earlier, and I think that's why we remember how great the players were. We were part of this incredible team again, and most of it was perfect. I got to say that we didn't always do everything perfect, and a couple things that off the field really tainted our program, I feel a little bit responsible for, because I was a senior when some bad things happened to the program that later Butch Davis and Larry Coker ended up fixing in a way that most people didn't think they could do. And I know Larry Coker. I knew him when he was an assistant. I haven't had the good fortune to spend a lot of time with him, but he's a guy that makes me very proud to be a Hurricane today. He's one of those guys that, after being through what I've been through and playing for certain coaches that I didn't respect a whole lot, it's just great to see him leading this team and getting the recognition, because he's a truly good guy. And I watch it. I'm a fan. I was at the Rose Bowl, and I'm just so happy where that program is today, taking over Butch and doing what you're doing. So I live in Las Vegas. It's kind of a sad thing. Sometimes they throw San Diego State versus Wyoming on TV instead of the Hurricanes versus Florida State. So I got to go to the satellites and watch the games. But it's with true pride that I boast where I came from, where a lot of people haven't experienced this great football experience like we were able to here. So anyway, I'll wrap it up. Again, thank you so much, and I look forward to another great season this year.